We've got some very special guests joining us on the show today. Joining us in just a little bit is going to be Robert Spiegel, who is the Executive Director of the Edison Wetlands Association, who just had a key role in an HBO film, an HBO documentary that made its debut earlier this week, and it's going to be running throughout the month. Maybe you had a chance to see it, or maybe you've watched it on demand. It is called Mann versus Ford, and we're going to talk about the role that the Edison Wetlands Association played in this documentary and in this film. Robert Spiegel is the Executive Director of the Edison Wetlands Association. He's going to be joining us coming up in just a little bit to talk about their role in this. Well, maybe you've seen the HBO documentary, which just made its debut earlier this week, called Mann versus Ford. It's going to be running throughout the month on the various HBO channels and probably available on demand at some point. There is it's a story about New Jersey, and there is a strong Central Jersey tie-in to the story. In fact, we're going to speak now to Robert Spiegel, who is the Executive Director of the Edison Wetlands Association, and they played a rather key part in the documentary. Mr. Spiegel, welcome to New Jersey Today on WCTC Radio, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, and I hope everybody's staying cool on this very warm day.
We're trying. We're definitely trying, that's for sure. Robert, tell us about the Edison Wetlands Association for folks who might not be familiar with it.
Well, Edison Wetlands Association started back in 1989. It started with me and somebody from Metuchen named John Shersick, who's a naturalist and an ice carver, and we started it trying to preserve a piece of property in North Edison. And over the years, we found that a lot of properties, especially in Central Jersey and throughout Jersey, were dumping grounds for toxic waste. Mm-hmm. And eventually, we actually got involved in Upper Ringwood, which is why we were featured in the Mann v. Ford documentary.
So your goal is to protect this land from development and from pollution and whatnot? That's what the association does?
Well, our organization, our mission is to make New Jersey clean and green again. And we do that in a lot of different ways. We own the last farm in Edison. We bought it and we preserved it for open space. Now we're open to the public, so we have trails. And in the largest area left in Central Jersey, or northern Central Jersey, we also do work cleaning up toxic waste sites. And we also help community groups throughout New Jersey dealing with pollution problems. Oh. And so our organization has grown from a local group that does work just in Edison to a group that works throughout New Jersey, and actually now we help groups throughout the United States.
Awesome. Tell us about the group in Ringwood and what they're all about and how you came to partner up with them.
Well, the community in Upper Ringwood, they are originally from the Ramapo Mountain Indian tribe, mm-hmm. and they're descendants of the original Lenape Indians. And these Native Americans, they migrated to the Ramapo Mountains in the 17th century, and they worked the iron mines until about the mid-1700s. And when the mining ceased, the Ramapo supported themselves by by cultivating their own gardens, by hunting and fishing. And to this day, they still live up there, gardening, fishing, and hunting, and living off the land as they have for hundreds of years. Except now, most of the community is ill as a result of Ford dumping toxic waste throughout their community.
Now, did Ford have a manufacturing plant in that area, or was this from another plant somewhere else?
Ford had several manufacturing plants, one in Edison, as you know.
Of course.
And they had one up in Mahwah. And what they did was the companies that they hired to cart off this waste were organized crime. And what they did was they went up to this Native American community because they figured they can get away with it, they could do whatever they want, and the community didn't have the wherewithal or the force to fight back. And so for probably about 8 to 10 years, starting from the late 60s until the mid-70s, they hired the organized crime to go up there and build these old mine shafts that were used for iron mines with all different types of paint sludge and chemicals and drums. But not only the mine shafts, but they dumped it everywhere. They dumped it right in the middle of the community. They dumped it over the mountains. And when you go up there, you see it's just such a beautiful area. You couldn't possibly imagine anybody would look at that and say, well, this is a place to dump hazardous waste. It's also drinking water for over 2 million people in North Jersey.
Oh, man, that's a big problem. So if this was going on for a period of years, it had to look like the place was trashed by everything here that was going on. It had to be a mess.
Yeah, absolutely was. And one of the things you see in Mann v. Ford, you see how beautiful the community looks. It really is paradise, but it's paradise that had been poisoned by corporate greed and by corporate disrespect of the land. And what we're doing and what we have been doing for the last 7 years is helping the community to get cleaned up. This is the first site in the United States that was ever put on the Superfund list, taken off, and then put back on again. And what Mann v. Ford documents is part of that story. It shows what happened during the lawsuit. It also shows what Edison Wetlands does best, which is helping to come in, we help the community, we set up a community advisory group and actually help the community to establish a relationship with the regulatory agencies. And actually now we're getting, right at the end, we're getting towards the cleanup, the actual cleanup after 7 years of hard work. And so when the documentary shows you what Edison Wetlands does, the story goes on.
That's great. Robert Spiegel is our guest, the executive director of the Edison Wetlands Association. They have a role in a current HBO documentary called Mann v. Ford, which spotlights Ringwood, New Jersey, with some bad stuff going on there involving Ford Motor Company and some alleged mob-tied truckers doing dumping over there over a period of years. Robert, do you happen to know how Robert Redford's son got attached to this project at all?
Yeah, well, Robert Redford's son, Jamie Redford, came in as the executive producer, as well as a number of other folks, and they came in, and once they saw the magnitude of the problem, they wanted to tell the story, and they wanted to get involved and tell the story. And they actually came and came up to the community for 5 years and taped what was going on over a 5-year period, which is a very, very long time. And they got a chance to meet the community, really meet the people that live up there, Wayne Mann and Vivian Milligan and the other members of the community that have been fighting to clean up their homes. And so once they came up there, they understood what I understood, and what anybody that comes up there understood, that what happened to them was a grave injustice, and it was something that the world needs to know.
Oh, absolutely.
And that'll actually be airing again on HBO this Saturday at 10:30 a.m., and then next Tuesday again at 3:30 p.m. So people that have maybe missed it can have a chance to watch it. And it's also on HBO Demand, so you could actually go on your service provider and order it on demand. So anybody that hasn't had a chance to see the documentary, they certainly could still see it. It's going to be on for the next month or so.
Well, I definitely want to see it. In fact, I'm going to put the link to HBO's website on our Facebook fan page a little later this afternoon so folks can get some immediate information to it. Robert,
there's also a Facebook page set up directly for Mann v. Ford. It's facebook.com/Mann, M-A-N-N v. Ford, one word. And so people that want to get involved in the conversation, want to find out what they can do to help, can go on the website. And we've also set up another website, Ringwood Superfund site, one word, .org. And if you could put both of those on, I would appreciate it, because a lot of people want to get involved. They don't know what to do. And both of those websites and the Facebook page will give people that want to get involved information about what they can do and how they can help.
Absolutely. I'll definitely put those up for you. Robert Spiegel, Executive Director of the Edison Wetlands Association, is our guest on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC. What kind of time frame are we talking about, Robert, where this dumping was taking place? What sort of decades? When did this happen?
Well, the dumping, according to Ford, took place from 1967 to 1974. And during that time, they had trucks just rolling constantly, almost 24 hours a day, going up to from Mawa, which is on Route 287, up to the mountains in Upper Ringwood. And they would bring this toxic sludge and just dump it indiscriminately, as well as drums of hazardous waste and solvents and just about anything else, including car parts and garbage. And so after they got done dumping, essentially Ford tried to figure a way to get rid of the land. So they gave it to the community so they could build their homes. And the community thought, well, this is great. We've never had our own land. And so they built homes right on top of this waste without knowing the full magnitude of where they were living. And Ford also gave part of the land to the state of New Jersey, and now that's part of Ringwood State Park. So Ford was pretty smart. They figured after they did their dumping that they would just get rid of the land, get rid of the liability, and that's also in the documentary. You can see what they did. But at the end, it's coming back to bite them because, number one, what they did was really hurt. It hurt this community. There's very few people that aren't sick, that aren't dying of something or have cancer. And number two, Ford now has to clean it up. They have to go back because we got involved, because Edison Wetlands forced the issue and got the community to voice their opinions and make sure that EPA heard them. That now this community hopefully will be cleaned up, and Lisa Jackson, who's the head of the EPA, will actually make Ford clean up their mess.
Well, that's great, and I'm glad that an organization like yours has gotten involved and lent support and at least gave them some resources at least as to how to go about this. So I applaud you for getting involved. I really do.
Well, thank you. We do that now across the state of New Jersey. We have a program now called the CARP, the Community Assistance Remediation Program, and we help folks throughout the state in Newark, in Camden, Long Branch, Milltown, and areas where people are being dumped on or have toxic waste issues, and we try to help them by providing resources and helping them to test or understand technical documents, and it really helps to empower the community. And so when we were asked by Senator Lautenberg to actually go up to Ringwood and to see what was going on, because even the senator couldn't believe it, we got involved with the community immediately. Even though it was way away from Edison, it really does affect us all. We all do really live on the same planet. We all breathe the same air. We drink the same water. And we all want the same thing. We just want a safe, clean environment to raise our children and to raise our families. And so that's why I personally made it my commitment that I would help this community and I would do everything within our power to give them a voice and to make sure that not only Ringwood but all these type of communities, they get cleaned up so people are safe again.
You summed it up perfectly. Robert Spiegel, Executive Director of the Edison Wetlands Association. Thanks for the time, and I'm going to look for you on HBO now.
Sure. And anybody that wants to get in touch with us, they can email us at ewainfo@edisonwetlands.org. If you want to email me or email the organization, if you have a problem or you just want more information, you can email us at ewainfo@edisonwetlands.org.
Sounds great, Robert. Enjoy your afternoon, and thank you for the time, okay?
Thank you. You have a great day.
Oh, you do the same. My pleasure. Robert Spiegel, Executive Director of the Edison Wetlands Association. And again, I'll put that information up on our Facebook fan page this afternoon. But getting involved and trying to help out a small group in Ringwood and trying to get things turned around and things cleaned up there. So good job by them. And make sure you look for that documentary on HBO this month called Mann v. Ford. It is New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. When we come back, Audrey Gambino is going to join us. We'll get the latest on some legislation about New Jersey's wineries and saving New Jersey's wineries. She's going to give us the very latest coming up right here on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey.
Do you want to sell your wrist and pocket watches and don't know who to trust? National Estate Jewelry Buyers in East Brunswick